Hey there YouTube, Rick here, also known as Lux Lumen. Today is April 7th, Tuesday, here in Michigan. We are currently shut down right now until June 2nd. We cannot leave our homes unless it's for essential stuff like toiletries and groceries. Some doctor visits, it all depends if it's like life-threatening and stuff like that. And I'm one of those essential workers, so I'm able to leave when I'm asked to leave, basically. I work in not in the medical field at all. A shout out to everybody that does work in the medical field and the first responders for helping everybody, cope with this along with the treatments of the COVID-19. My boss's wife is also a nurse, and she is a respiratory nurse, and she's, I think they got like 36 patients just in her hospital right now, which is quite crazy. Right now we have a total of 18,970 confirmed cases of the COVID-19 with 845 COVID-19 related deaths, which is unfortunate. And unfortunately, both those numbers of both are going to go up even higher tomorrow and stuff like that. So hopefully this kind of reaches that plateau and just starts dropping down now. I'm one of those essential workers. I do firestorm and water restoration. Right now we had a big storm that went by through my town right now. Hopefully I don't get called into work. But it may happen to where I have to go in there and, dry out the homes, extract the water, stuff like that, to prevent any mold from growing, which is, harmful to people's health, stuff like that. So I'm one of those, not life-sustaining, but health-sustaining essential employees. But besides all that stuff right there, how I get by with doing stuff besides going to work and try not to go crazy here at home, purchase a bunch of lights to do reviews on, and also purchase some hosts and some parts to build some lights. And today I'm going to show you guys the 3 hosts I'm going to be building. I'm going to build 1 host on this video as well. The other 2 hosts, I kind of want to do a live YouTube build. If you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, just let me know. But right now, let's dive down into the lights and roll with the intro first. All right, guys, what I have here is the 3 lights that I purchased to build on. I have the C8 Plus, which is a Convoy C8 Plus, Convoy M1, and a Convoy S11. I've built on plenty of C8s before without any issues. Great lights to build on, but this one's much different now. This one actually has a different knurling to it. The knurling and the cutouts are very, very different. The knurling right here is a little bit more aggressive, which is perfect for grip. Very, very well done. Better than the actual C8, the original one. The tail cap looks nice and sweet with the cutouts on there as well. But the more cutouts we have on the head right here, the better heat dissipation. So this thing's going to heat sink a lot better than the regular C8. And then also what we have here is the M1. This is one of my favorites to build on. This guy right here has great, if it'll focus, there we go. It has great cutouts as well on the actual light on the head. So you're going to have a lot better heat sinking as well. I'm having a slight lighting issue. As you can tell, it's darker on this side than it is up front. My bad, but that's what we're working with right now. So anyways, this guy right here comes with an orange peel reflector. If it'll focus on the orange peel reflector, there we go. Just a standard glass lens. Now the C8 has a AR-coated lens, as you can see, a little different purples and stuff like that on it. Then also a very smooth reflector, very good reflector. Then we have the S11. Now the S11 right here is, there's not very many cutouts on it, but the reason why I purchased this guy to build on is because it's actually a host for a 26650 battery. So this thing's going to hold a very big battery, so it has obviously longer run times. We'll be running, one of these guys right here compared to, let me show you guys, in case it's your first time ever building. So right here is the 26650, and this is an 18650. Same height, but obviously there's a bigger diameter difference right here. So this one has a better, higher capacity than the other one does. This one's 4200 milliamp. This is 3000 milliamp. But this guy will punch out more power, more amps to the LED than this guy would. But still, very, very good batteries. Both of them are. Highly suggest the Sony right here, which is the Sony VTC6. Very powerful battery. Kicks out a lot of power. So highly recommend that. Anyways, this guy right here also comes with an orange peel reflector and an AR coated lens. Not sure you can see the little different colors there, but AR coated lens on this guy and a reflector, which is a orange peel. So it's going to help dissipate that light a little bit better. I've got 3 drivers here. I've got 2 17mm drivers for the smaller convoys, and then for the bigger one right here with the bigger battery, it requires a 22mm driver. Let me show you guys the size difference if I can get it up here and get it to focus. So there's the size difference. One on the right is a 22mm and the one on the left is a 17mm. They all push out the same amount of power. Just because it's a bigger driver doesn't mean it's actually going to push out more power. They will push out all the exact same power. They all have the same firmware on them, which is the Guppy, I think it's a dual clicky DRV. So there's lots and lots of modes in these in those drivers with that firmware on there. And then I'm going to be using this guy right here, which is the XHP 50.2, and it is the 3-volt version. So all these are going to be running single cells. With the other XHP 50.2s and like the XHP 70.2, the XHP 70, and the XHP 50, those are all anywhere from 6 volt to 12 volts, which requires more than one cell to run. But this is a 3-volt LED, so it'll be able to run with a single cell. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to build this C8 right here for you guys. Show you guys how it's done, how I build it. It won't be very, very quick on the Sting, but I'm just showing you guys what I'm doing, basically. I'll give you guys a breakdown of the light. I'll take everything apart so you guys can see it, and then we'll go from there. So stay tuned. All right, guys, I got the flashlight all taken apart so I can show you guys the parts. I did notice with this flashlight is, let's see if it'll focus on here. This spring already has a spring bypass in it. So you can see the red wire inside there, inside that spring. Already been bypassed. The wire is not that big, so I might switch it out to a larger diameter wire, bigger gauge wire, but I'm not quite sure. Now this is the body of the flashlight, so which will be the battery tube basically. As you can tell, they are well greased on the threads for sure. I think if it'll focus, if we can tell if the square cut threads or not. They are square cut on both ends. Not sure if you guys can tell or not. Now I also want to let you guys know that inside of this tube, you'll see there's a little plastic baggie in there. Poke my finger through. Inside that baggie, you have an extra spring. And you also get 2 LED gaskets, or they would also be called reflector gaskets, to where they sit around the LED so the reflector can sit on top of that gasket and not make any contact with the MCPCB at all and short it out. And you also get 2 little small screws in here which screw the MCPCB to the inside of the head. Now inside the head, I took it apart. This is the inside of it right here. Not sure if it'll focus in there or not. So that's the inside. 2 of those holes is going to be for one for the positive, one for the negative. The other 2 holes are going to be for the screws to hold the MCPCB inside there so it doesn't move around. On the backs and on the inside, I guess you can say, you'll see there's like a little ring inside there. Stick your finger in there, unscrew that ring, get it out. So there's a little small ring right here. Now this little ring right here holds the driver in place. So do not lose this. You'll see there's 2 little holes on each side of it right there. If you can't get it out with your finger, I suggest just getting a pair of tweezers like this, sticking the tweezers inside there into the holes, giving a little twist, and then unscrew it out afterwards. And always when you guys do insert these things after you put the driver in, always use a little set of tweezers or whatever you can to get in there to twirl it in to make it nice and tight so the driver stays nice and tight up against it. Then you have the reflector right here. Nice, smooth, shiny reflector, quite deep, very good reflectors. And then you have the bezel of the flashlight. If it'll focus on the bezel, it's getting annoying. There we go. There's the bezel of the flashlight. It is kind of, I guess you can say, aggressive on it, but not very sharp at all. So if you have to bash somebody in the face with this, I mean, it'll hurt for sure. Hit him in the face with anything, it'll hurt. Then there's a black ring inside there. I'm going to switch out that gasket O-ring with the glow-in-the-dark O-ring instead. Put it in there, so I'm going to take the glass out and put this thing inside there later on. What else? I want to show you guys one other thing on the driver here. I'm not sure if it'll focus on it. See these little rough edges right here? So as soon as you guys get brand new drivers, they all have on 4 sides, or I guess it'd be 4 parts of the driver. You're going to have those rough edges. Now those rough edges are just where they're pretty much, this whole thing's printed out on one big board, one big sheet, and these get broken off, and then all the components get put on them and stuff like that. You guys are going to want to file these things down till they're nice and flush, nice and smooth all the way around. That way the driver can fit inside of here without any issue at all. And then let me get to the LED really quick and tell you guys what else you have to do. I suggest you guys doing now as opposed to later. You guys are going to want to, you see those 2 contacts right here? So there's a positive and there's a negative. Or sorry, this is the positive, that's the negative. You're going to want to pre-tin those little dots right there. That way, pre-solder these things right here. Nice little ball of solder on both sides. That way, when you guys place this thing inside of here, you guys are going to want to obviously have the solder already on there. It makes it much easier than having to put solder in there, hold the wire in, hold the excuse me, hold your soldering iron and everything else. So make sure to pre-solder those 2 sides right there. And then what was the other thing I was going to mention to you guys? Yes, solder paste. Not solder paste, but thermal paste. What I have here is, if it'll focus, it doesn't want to focus for me. There we go. So what we have here is the Arctic Silver. We got the Arctic Silver. This stuff is very, very good. This is a thermal paste, not a thermal grease. So it holds a lot better. It actually holds everything in place for you as well once you guys put the stuff in there. And that stuff, I've built flashlights, and then, let me see, come on, focus. I've built flashlights, and then 3 years later taken it apart, and this paste is still nice and soft and maneuverable, so it doesn't get hard like the thermal epoxy does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tin these things up, and I'll show you guys how to do that really quick, and then we'll jump into the next step. Alright guys, I just want to show you guys the tinning of both the positive and the negative. Put a nice little glob of solder on there. Make sure it's sticking very well, make sure your iron is nice and hot, and then boom, you're done with that part. Alright, now what we have here guys is we have the 2 screws to hold the MCPCB inside of the actual head. We have 2 insulator gaskets, and we have a spring. We don't need this spring right here, and we do not need this round insulator gasket. The insulator gasket right here is for the XP LEDs. However, this one here will fit perfectly on top of this guy without any issues. The XHP50 and the XML share the same die size, so it shouldn't be an issue at all with this thing fitting on top of there, and then perfectly centering inside with the reflector. Alright guys, next thing you want to do now is you want to put a little bit of this thermal paste on here. Just a little teeny bit like that. Set it off to the side. Rub it in the center. You'll know exactly how much you need just by the feel of it. So right that's perfect right there. Once you guys put this inside the actual board, or inside the head of the flashlight, it's going to, trying to get it to focus for you guys, it's going to flatten out nice and smooth. And that's plenty of stuff. A little bit of stuff on here. Best thing to wipe these things off with, I use baby wipes, because this stuff is a huge pain in the butt. Baby wipe gets it nice and clean. Alright, next thing you want to do is obviously use some tweezers right here to drop the MCPCB right inside the head of the flashlight. And you want to get your screws. I have a little small screwdriver right here. Now this screwdriver is magnetic, so it holds the screw onto the thing perfectly. We're just going to go inside there, start the threads, don't do it all the way tight yet, put the second screw in. And I'm sorry if stuff's all blurry, but my autofocus is being a pain in the butt. Put the second one in place. And then once you feel a little bit of tension, you go to the next one. A couple turns on that one. A couple turns on this one. back and forth until everything is nice and tight. 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 So next thing you see inside there, you see those two holes, a hole here and a hole over there. That's where the negative's going to go through here and the positive is going to go through here. So when you flip this thing over, make sure you know that. So right now, the positive on the top. When I flip this thing over here, I want to go to the top hole inside of here will be the positive. I want to show you guys one more thing as well. After tightening this thing down, all the thermal paste, squashed off to the side, stuff like that. Sometimes it covers the hole. Now right now, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but there is some soldering paste right inside that hole. This is one thing all modders should get are these these pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners work awesome. Literally just stick it through the hole, pull it through the other side, and then all that not solder, but all the, let's see if I can get the focus on it. You can see the paste on it right there. That pulled the paste right off of there. So now when you guys run your wires through, your wires won't get the paste on it. And if you get the paste on the wires, it's a pain in the butt to try to solder them. You have to pull it back out, clean it up, stuff like that. So good tip right there. All right, guys, I want to show you guys the filing of these little knurls off of here. Just put a little thing on there, get yourself a nice file. Make sure it's nice and round. Try to keep the same profile as everything else, and now everything is all nice and round as compared to, where's another knurly spot here. So there's an knurly spot right here. Not focusing. There we go. Knurly spot there, nice and flush here, nice and round and smooth. All right, guys. So get everything all soldered inside there now, as you can tell inside. Now when you guys do pull the wires through, make sure you keep them nice and long and then bend them over so you can push them down onto there and then hold them down with a pair of tweezers. Hold them down like that and then put your soldering iron on there and then melt those two ends together right to the tip, and then yeah, everything will be all good. So that's it, all set. All I have to do now is just grab the driver here, give it a couple twists, push down so the wires kind of bind up and go down inside. And then, yeah, install the ring, and then I'll put the reflector on. Also, let me put this guy on for use, just to show you that everything fits perfectly. So I'm going to put the insulator gasket on. Boom, insulator gasket's on now. So now when the reflector goes on there, I'll show you guys how it sits. Nice and perfect. Sits nice and perfect now, so no issues. Everything's nice and square. Everything's nice and flush. It's good to go. Actually, I'll just put this thing on. I put the ring inside there. It's a glow-in-the-dark ring. Flip this thing over. Now, I will say that the threads on this whole entire light here are nice and greased. Buttery smooth. Everything's in place. Boom. Everything's all set. Ready to rock and roll. Just gotta put the driver in, slap my battery in, put the tail cap back on, and then boom, we'll take it outside. All right, guys, one more thing. Once you give this driver a little twist and you push the wires inside there, set the driver back into the place, you're gonna wanna hold it with your finger down like this. You're gonna wanna grab the ring. I already got the ring in, sorry. You wanna grab the ring, drop it in here, and then put this inside the ring to hold the driver down. Move your finger, let the ring fall in place. Once it falls in place, you're going to want to hold the driver down again, and you're going to want to just keep on trying to get this thing to start. Once it starts, you're golden, but it's going to be a huge pain in the butt to get it started. So don't let that thing frustrate you too much, but it is a pain in the butt, like I said. So once you get it going, get it all the way around, hold the driver down while you're doing it. Just kind of use this thing to poke into the holes to slide it all the way around. And then once you get it into place, give it a nice little twist, nice tight, and you're good to go and golden. Okay, now with this C8 and most of the C8s, this focus on there. So the battery tube, the body right here, has an unfinished end and then a finished end. The unfinished side, you're going to want it to go into the light like so, just like that. Then we can drop the cell inside of here. We'll give this thing a test to see if it works. Let me zoom you guys out a little bit. There we go. And we're going to put the tail cap on. And again, these things are, not sure if you guys can tell, but they're nice and greased from the factory. So absolutely no issues there with this. This is in place. Oh, the light's on. And it's going to go through all the modes. I think that's low right there, medium, and higher. And then turbo, I think. I can feel the heat on my hand, and this thing's a good 1.5 feet away and off. So we'll bring this thing outside and we'll see how it rocks. All right, guys, hope you guys can hear me. It is quite windy outside, but the build is done. It's all set, ready to rock and roll. Now, when I tested it outside, or not outside, when I tested it inside, I noticed that I'm unable to change my modes. So I have 4 modes on this thing right now. I think the firmware on the driver itself is messing up, which isn't a fault of mine. It's the it happens on some drivers. Sometimes they mess up. Yeah, so let's give this thing a go. It's got 4 modes right now. I'm gonna start over here and I'll show you guys the modes. So this is supposed to be moonlight, which it's not quite moonlight. It's more of a 2 or 5%. And then we'll jump up to the next mode. It's a little bit brighter. And then we'll jump up to the next mode, which is medium. And then we'll jump up to turbo, which is high, I guess you can say. So this thing is a little powerhouse, and it has lots of throw. So that tower right there at the very top of it, where the satellites are, is 125 yards, 120 to 125 yards from me. The White House, you'll see vehicles back there. Not this building here. Beyond that, there's a White House, the tree above it. I mean, this thing throws great. Let's try this way here, and we'll see how this thing lights up this part of the building as well. Boom. I mean, it lights everything up. This thing's probably pushing out of, I'm going to say probably around 3,500 lumens. I'll take you guys for a walk and you guys can see. Again, I apologize if you guys hear the wind. It is quite windy out. I'm probably going to get in crap for shining this on the building, but I'm going to do it once just for the heck of it so you guys can see. So there's the building. That's on turbo. And of course my camera's going to dump down a little bit, but this thing reaches way out there. I'm not sure if you guys can see way back there. I'll turn it off. I'll turn it back on. You'll see signs light up way at the very end of the street. That's a stop sign way back there. That's a good, I think it was 300 yards when I measured it last. So yeah, it goes out there quite a ways. And then we'll do this here. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Blinding is. It's much brighter in person than it is on the camera right now, but let's go for a walk through here. I am using my phone for this, so hopefully, again, like I said, the audio is not too bad. I have a lavalier mic plugged into my phone, so hopefully it's not too bad. Go to the end of this street right here, and then we'll shine towards this other building, other apartment building. Boom. That way you guys can see the true light actually right there. You can see the true output of this thing. And like I said, this thing will throw like crazy. Let's go back here. I'll do the building one more time. Like, look at this thing. That is just insane. And you can see the saber it has right there. Nice little lightsaber. Reach to the top of the tower. There is a little bit of an orange ring around the center hotspot, but there is a center hotspot. This thing does get hot. But like I said, there's that glass gasket I put in there too. But this is that the C8 Plus, and I can hold it no problem. And there's absolutely no nothing. Like, I'll put this above. Now you guys can see this is on turbo too. Drop it down to low. So that's low. A little slightly bit brighter there. And that's midway. I guess that's medium 2, I guess you can say. And then boom, the turbo. This thing reaches way out there. It's a beast of a light. I can't wait to build the other one too lights. So stay tuned for those builds. until the next one, guys, stay safe, stay indoors, wash your hands, do everything you can to not get this coronavirus. Again, like I said, stay safe, and God bless you.